Good evening, welcome to the Deathray Chat live stream. Got some things to give away today. I'm going to start off with this final record from the Continental Quilts. So, me mate Flying Brian, who does all the t-shirts, well, some of them, this is one of his bands, and he was clearing out his garage. So I got some of these to sling across the pond or down the river, wherever you are. So, also, I got some stickers I'm going to throw in with these as well. I got a new printer. Check it out. So, I'm going to throw some of them at you as well. First question. Name this tune. Who's it by? What's the song called? There you go. Do you know who that's by? First person to guess who it's by and the track gets a record. Simple as that. Hello Will, hello Yorkie Mike, hello Nigel, hello Kevin and Will. Kevin and Will have got a little crown next to you. Does that mean you're Kevin? It is Link Ray? Correct. Can you name the song? Hey Paul, good morning. Yeah, some of you guys have got little crowns with numbers next to you. Does that mean you're like super chat pals or something? I don't know. But yeah, that's cool, isn't it? So can you name that tune? Anyway, let me tell you what we're going to talk about today. I've had a couple of really good questions on the Patreon a few days ago. I posted saying, I'm going live, let me know if there's anything you want to know. And Matt Bart and Greg H have both put some really good questions on there. So we'll be looking at them. I've also got a couple of things to tell you. We've got the giveaways, got some records and stickers. What else are we going to talk about? I've got an idea for a really super easy lesson as well. So I might go through that as well. But there we go. And hello Dan. J Hood 33, you made it. Storm Crow, morning. Arizona Rockabilly, good morning from Arizona, excellent. Matthew Barr, hello. Chicago, with a lovely aviation. Is that a beer? I'm going to answer you one of your questions, Matt. Matt asked on the Patreon, he said, I'd love to dive deeper into double stops applied in minor and major chord progressions. So I'd love to talk about that very shortly. And welcome Christopher, Melanie, hello, and yeah, oh yeah, Nigel, nice new hat, well spotted. If you're on the Patreon or Instagram, you will have seen we've got these new Deathray hats in. Have a look at that. Can you see that? Embroidered hats, they're in the shop if you like that sort of thing. Yeah, they're selling very well. I've got a stack of them over there ready to ship out. So Matt, double stops. What's a double stop, first of all? Sounds complicated, but actually all it is playing two notes at once. Let's turn my tremolo off. I don't want to confuse things. There you go. So if you're playing two notes at once, you're playing a double stop. And the name comes from, I think it comes from violinists. It's a very early term, double stop. I don't know exactly why. If anyone else can tell me, maybe I'll throw you a record. So, Yorkie Mike's already ordered a hat. Nice one. Hey, Christopher. Thank you for joining us. Scott, hello. I've just had a lesson with Scott. We were looking at... Was it vibrators? So, looking at some 70s punk. I think it's 70s punk. Rocco wants more Reverend Horton Heat lessons. I can't figure that shite out. I just about can, but it takes me a long time. That's why I haven't done a lot more of them. Also, Jim Heath himself does really good lessons. So he's got a YouTube channel there worth looking at. And we have Greg H here, who also we're going to answer a question. Baby by the Vibrators. I'm going all over the place at the minute, aren't I? I need to focus on one thing at a time. Let's answer Matt Barr's question. Double stops. What's a double stop? 2 notes at once. So he wants to dive deeper into it, but let's just get an easy double stop practice thing going on for anyone who's never tried them before. Let's say we're playing in A. Let's say we're playing in A. Say we're doing, I don't know, whatever, 12 bar blues in A. You could be playing it up here on the 5th frets. Now, if I wanted to do a double stop over that, a really simple one would be, I'd find the 5th fret and the top 2 strings, or lowest to the ground, the E and the D. Sorry, the E and the B, or the 1 and the 2. And you can bar with your finger across the 5th frets. If you've got a guitar near you, go get it, pick it up, bar over the 5th frets. There's a really easy double stop. So I've got my little looper here. Let's just see if this works. I'm gonna get an A going on. Okay, hopefully this is working. Now that double stop, there you go. So I'm kind of playing on the offbeat. See, that's pretty simple, but it sounds cool. So that's a great start. There's a one tiny humble double stop. If I wanted to add to it, I would go for this next one. So if you know your pentatonic, minor pentatonic scale, these notes on the top 2 strings here, we're gonna enlist them. So you got your first one there on the 5th fret. You're gonna do the same thing, but on the 8th frets. There you go. So it's the same shape. You're barring across the 5th frets, and then you're barring across the 8th frets. Now I'm using one finger there and sliding. You can do that, but if you can use your pinky or your ring finger to bar, that's going to be tricky at first, but in the long run, you'll get it. Let's see what that sounds like with my simple rocking backing track. There we go. I already sound like a bit of a rockabilly superstar now, just with 2 double stops. You might have noticed was slightly bending that second one there. Now, saying you wanted to go in more depth with this, you could think about those notes being related to the minor pentatonic, or those notes fit in with that. I've done a video about this. Now, there's a bunch of exercises or things you could do to add to this. You could kind of go up and down the minor pentatonic scale-ish. Sounds a little bit wonky, but that's a great start to get you going. If you listen to like Brian Setzer, he'll do a bit of that sort of thing. In fact, he does something where he's kind of taking this scale which on the top E string is 5, 6, 7. Sorry, not 5, 6, 7. 5, 7, 8, 7, 5. You can do the same on the B string, 5, 7, 8, 7, 5. So up and down. Now you can try your double stops with that. Let's add that to the... So that's a little bit more advanced, but it's fun to try because it's all about where you're ending up and keeping it in time and stuff. So that's like a sort of basic double stop introduction, kind of. Gets less basic. But you could think about, so you were asking about applying it to major and minor chords, and that's where it gets a little bit more, you need to know a little bit about theory and scales. So you kind of don't need to know about the scale. You can play this stuff without knowing the theory. You can use your ears, you can hear it, you can read a tab, you can totally do it. And that's how I used to do stuff. That's how I got playing, and I was playing pretty good. I was playing, you know, almost full time when I was doing that, and you know, semi-professionally. And I was getting away with not knowing about it, and I could probably have kept going and not studied the theory, but I've started over the last few years delving into it a bit more because I enjoy it and it helps me understand things better. So it is worth looking at the theory side of things. So anyway, if you know your major scale, that would be a great start. That sound. Let's say you know your major scale, and each one of those notes, has a chord that goes with it. So if you wanted to like flesh out that scale, the major scale, you could play the full chord that goes with it. So, and then I run out of space up here. Okay, I'm not expecting everyone to like learn this already if you don't know it, but I'm just throwing it out there. Let's say instead of playing a full chord, I'm going to play the top part of it because I'm running out of neck here. So again, we're looking at each note in the scale. There's a pattern to it. So first of all, you need to know the intervals. You need to know how far away each note is. You need to get that down. And then, okay, so you're going to number each note, but each note has either a major or minor or diminished chord to go with it, and diminished one gets a little bit trickier, but we're not going to worry about it too much. So your first note is a major. Your second is a minor, your next one's a minor, then it's major, then it's another major, then it's a minor, then it's a diminished, and then it's back to your first chord, which is a major again. So basically, if you want to get a bit cleverer with your double stops, you could use those chords along with the backdrop of what you're playing. So if I'm playing a G major, right, so I'm going to go up and down that scale, but I forgot to say, I'm just going to use 2 notes out of those chords rather than playing the full chords. I'm going to just play the first 2 notes out of those chords, so the 1 and the 3, I think. Yeah. So I'm in G now. This might be a bit, I might just be just saying random stuff, but if you're following, let me know. So I've got a G backing track to go, so it's always good to have something to, what's the word? Let me have a swig. It's good to have that context, because if I just start playing, you know, a little scale, it doesn't mean anything. But if we've got the root chord going in the back, alright, so I'm going to start with my little mini scale here. Sounds pretty sweet, right? So that, I was just playing the major major or minor intervals, depending on how far up and down I was going. But I was playing this sort of stuff before I knew about chords in the scale. Like, you don't really have to know that. If you can hear, if you can make those intervals happen, so that's a major third there. Say we're in G. There's a G right here, and then the third of the scale, which is it's either F sharp. Yeah, it'll be an F sharp. Is that an F sharp? No, it's not. It's a B. Excuse me. Ooh, see, it's tricky. It's tricky. There's your major shape. I was looking at this with Scott, in fact, today. And then your minor shape is very similar. So I'm on D and G there, 5th and 4th frets. If you want the minor, you would flatten the 3rd, and you get that shape there. So I'm only really using 2 shapes there. Also, that minor shape works for the diminished in that instance. But a lot of people just skip out the diminished because it's trickier. So there you go. That's a little bit more. Okay, so that was the major, and then the same is applied for the minor. So I won't go into that because I'm simply not as strong with the minor, but you can get into things like relative minor where scales are shared and stuff like that. Well, notes in the scale are shared. But to be honest, you're better off going to a theory specialist. I'm more of a kind of rockabilly, you know what I do. That's what I do. And my theory knowledge is okay. I'm not a jazzer. I know just enough to play what I play, and that's what I share with you. There you go. Anyway, I'm going to go to the comments and have a look at what you guys have been saying. Do. Where was I? Christopher Gallagher says, greetings from California. It's sunny. It's been sunny over here. It's been a bit of a heat wave over here, but it's kind of chilling out. Now it's raining and stuff. Greg H got my first gretsch recently, G5427TG, and put a True Arc bridge on it. Was inspired by your old pandemic era video. I forget what all the numbers are. Is that the rat rod? G427TG? I don't know. Yeah, I started all this channel in the pandemic because there was nothing else to do, and it has turned into my full-time job, which is pretty cool. So thank you everyone who's been watching the videos and supporting me. That's been awesome. Jesse Magana, I don't know how to pronounce your name, sorry. It's Arizona Rockabilly. You should do some more intermediate/advanced rockabilly or psychobilly stuff. You have plenty of beginner ones already. Yeah, that's true. That is true. I'll be honest, one reason why I do the beginner stuff is it is quicker and easier for me to bosh them out once a week. If I'm doing the more difficult stuff, I probably wouldn't be able to do one a week. Also, I think most people watching are in the beginner category. I could be wrong, but I feel like that is something. But yeah, occasionally I'll do something a little trickier. It's funny, everyone's different, and yeah, try and do something for everyone. Sometimes there'll be a lesson where it starts off easy, and then I'll throw in some like more difficult stuff or alternate ways for playing things. But that's a cool comment. Thanks for that. Scott Leonard says, "Baby, baby," and that is because we were looking at that song by the Vibrators. Which I've already forgotten. We were looking at the lead part to that. Will says, "Is Stray Cats tutorials in future possible?" Yes. Yeah. Although there's so many of them out there already that are really good, is it worth me doing them again? Like, you know, not everyone gets stuff right as well. I'm not saying that I could do stuff better than anyone else, but maybe there's space for some more Stray Cats, but then I might have to go down the more obscure route because I've done a lot of stuff. Tell you what, if anyone else can guess what beer I'm drinking, I'll sling him a record. I'm just gonna pet my cat over here. She's been very cute and rolling on her back. You can't see that. It's a shame. Matthew Barr, aviation is gin. Oh, this is a cocktail. Maraschino liqueur, lemon juice, and violet creme. That sounds amazing. I might have to upgrade to a cocktail later. Rocco says, double stops are great, especially if you're the only guitarist. Fill space. Bend them. Yeah, totally. I think I use them quite a lot because I play in a trio, the Deathray Chat trio, and I'm the only guitarist, and I do use a lot of double stops, and yeah, it does sound really good when it just fills up that space. Nigel says, allegedly double stops is a violin related thing. When you finger a note, it's called a stop. So when you finger two notes, it's a double stop. It's just been carried over to guitar. Will asked me, how long have I been playing for? I've been playing since I was like, I don't know, 11 something. Yeah, I was a teenager or just before. Paul says, stop refers to stopping a string at a certain note, so a double stop is stopping two notes at a specific point. Yes, it comes from violin. Brian Setz is playing as a masterclass in guitar. I agree, he's ridiculously good. Will says is his favourite guitarist. I'm your second. That's very kind. Nico, can you suggest a good looper pedal? to be honest, I've got a super cheap one. I can't even remember the name of it. I just went on Amazon. I think it's like Leccato or something like that. I think it's like, like a whatever cheap thing. It's also a tuner, but it's one of those mini things. It works just as good as, it does the basic thing. I don't think you're going to need anything fancy like extra layers and stuff like that. I just find it super useful to be like, right, I want to practice, say, a scale, or I'm maybe writing something. Maybe I've written the chords and I want to play some lead over the top. And then I've got a little backdrop for it. Anyway, yeah, it's fun to have just there. It's really good for the teaching thing as well. FF, I'm sorry I don't speak Spanish. I think this is Te quiero mucho, professor. Yeah, saludos. I think that's something like something a lot, teacher. Hello. Saludos to you as well, my friend. Matthew Barr, excellent information. Thank you. Good. Awesome. Hey, Charles in Tennessee. Just the stuff I've been working on myself. Excellent. Greg says his guitar is a 5420, but exclusive for Guitar Center and Musician's Friend in the States. Is that one of the orange ones? Because they look pretty cool. Dan says, actually, I'd like even more beginner stuff, like way, way easier beginner stuff. Yeah, this is the thing, like, everyone's at a different level, so I'm gonna, I'll do my best to cover all I can, and there'll be some weeks where it's more advanced and some weeks where it's not, but I'll have to bear that in mind. And Scott says, that's why I took lessons with you, to get more advanced stuff. That's cool. So it's funny, like, in my head, like, what I do, yeah, I know I've been doing it a long time, I'm pretty good, but you always sort of look at other people and you're like, well, they're advanced. Like, I go to lessons with Daniel Donato every now and again. He's ridiculous. But yeah, I guess if you're just starting out, I guess you could say, yeah, I know some advanced stuff. Yeah, have some confidence, Nico. Right. But yeah, okay, did anyone guess the beer for a record and some stickers? I've not got back to the bottom of the comments. I do have space for some lessons, by the way. I've got a couple of people starting over the next few weeks, so get in touch. Best to hit my email, xraynico@gmail.com, for anything. Sooner Legends podcast. Hey Nico, can you demonstrate that famous rockabilly ending in E that Carl Perkins used a lot? Thanks from Oklahoma. I'm not sure what you mean. I've got a few ideas. Do you mean like the bluesy sort of thing, like? I don't know if that's more of a blues thing or. I would have to do a bit of homework to get back to you on that one. Sooner Legends podcast. Dan Davis says, due to my nasty arthritis problems, I can't even use all my fingers. I'm hearing that quite a lot because a lot of people watching the channel are of that age where, yeah, your hands can't do what they used to do, or maybe you've been working a hard job with your hands and stuff stops working as well. Touch wood, I'm okay so far, but every now and again I do get a little twang here and there, so it's that is a whole thing in itself. Like, are you holding your hands right? Are you warming up? Are you trying not to do too much? I think there's specialists as well, like musician specialists who have done proper research on playing. So that's something I could look at. I wouldn't mind doing that. I know some people who might have done something similar. Kiki Rockabilly does great Stray Cats lessons. Don't know Kiki Rockabilly. There's a guy who did the Stray Cat strut, and he's just basically nailed it. There was a bit I couldn't get. That little, I think it's diminished. Is it diminished run? It's really subtle, but yeah, little things like that. And there's so many live videos and videos where Brian Setzer is talking about what he's playing. To do a really authentic lesson, you got to do a lot of research and really listen hard and watch his hands and live videos and stuff like that, which I occasionally do. But if somebody's done all the work already, but also that's the other thing, if like you're watching somebody with a YouTube channel, they're not necessarily always going to get it right. Even me, I know it's hard to believe, but even I sometimes make mistakes, and either I'll get a little comment going, yeah, which is fine, it's good that people can tell me, or maybe I'll notice, like in a few months' time, I'll go back to a piece and like, oh, I wouldn't have played it like that. Or there was one for instance was Night of the Vampire, I think it was. I can't remember it now. Anyway, anyway, something like that. There's loads of different ways to play it, and I think I tabbed it out like up here, but I had to play it live for like a Joe Meek sort of birthday concert thing, and I just found it easier to play in a different position. So then I'm like, well, that's just what happens, especially if there's no like video of someone playing it, or it's hard to make out. You've kind of got to use your imagination a bit. So there you go. I'm just going off on tangents here, guys. I'm just reading the comments. Charles Lane, I play double stops and partial chords, especially when I can't the chord shape. Trouble with my hands. Yeah, so like for example, bar chords are super cool, and once you've got them, you can do so much stuff with them, but they're really difficult, especially if you're a beginner, especially if you've got like arthritis, because it takes quite a lot of strength to do that. Not that you want to grab your neck so hard that your hand is straining. You want it to be fairly light, and that comes, and also you want to be thinking about, is your guitar set up nicely? Have you got an easy guitar to play on? The Gretsch guitars are beautiful and sound amazing and look amazing, but they're probably not the easiest beginner guitar. Like something with a really thin neck and a low action. I mean, you can get low action on these. You might want to try different guitars out. So there's that to think about. Anyway, my point was, the bar chord here, the major bar chord. This one's the E shape major bar chord. It's called E shape because we're taking that E major shape and we're moving it up wherever you want it, but you're playing it with different fingers so that you can put your first finger down and bar it. Once you know that, you can move it around. yeah, okay, I make it look easy, but it's not, because you got to build those muscles up, like I was saying. So what can you do to make that easier? You can play the top or the bottom half of it. You could go for the power chords. That's quite a lot easier to do the power chord. That's worth knowing. Or the top half. The top 3 strings there. You can even go to the top 2 strings. Brings us full circle to the double stops, right? Pretty cool, huh? Which brings me on to one of our favourite guitarists, Poison Ivy. She'd do entire guitar solos just using that double stop. So like the Cramps, they do a version of Strychnine. Where do they play it? I think it's in B. So let me use my looper. Let's get that on the go. In fact, she wouldn't have had guitar in the background. Anyway, let me just get on with it. Mess that up, I have to do it again. Time is a bit off, but you get the idea. See what I did there? So like, started the bar chord's doing that, but she followed the chords. More or less. You could follow the chords. Or you could do what she does and start with that idea, and then she kind of goes off on one. Don't know what she does after that. Something cool. There you go. Ivy's being cute and just did a big stretch, so I'm going to rub her belly. Ivy's my cat, by the way. Okay. I'm going off on little tangents here. I'm enjoying it. Matthew Barr, there might be a lot of Stray Cat tutorials, but we really connect with your approach. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Yeah, because it's happened a lot where I've kind of looked up videos to see if they've been done, because why would I do it again? But then I'm like, well, that's not how I would have done it, or maybe people just want to see me do it, so I appreciate that. Rocco, it's not a Stella. Will, it's not a Budweiser. It's not a Kronenberg, Christopher. Hello, Tom. Now, where was I? Hello, Bob Smith. So, anyway, Tom, favourite fuzz pedal. As you probably know, I recently got delivery. I recently received the Dan Electro Eisenhower fuzz pedal, and I asked them to send me one because we've been looking at Poison Ivy's tone, right? Thanks for the question, Tom. We've been looking at Poison Ivy's tone a lot, and we know she uses like tremolo, lots of reverb, bit of slapback maybe, but big one of her sounds is the fuzz. It's not plugged in right now, so I can't show you, but if you imagine Like a Bad Girl Should, the sound on that, you're hearing a fuzz with the tremolo, and it sounds amazing. I'll show you next time. Now, the reason why I went for this specific one is it's meant to be based on the Super Fuzz, the 1960s Super Fuzz, which is what she is meant to have had. So I just wanted to try and get as close as possible to the fuzz sound that she had. I've been using like, where is it? I think it's also on a board somewhere. The Phantom Fuzz. Ah, it's right there. This is the Phantom Fuzz, which my friend Pete Hughes makes. These are really, really good for that 60s kind of sound. Really kind of more on the high end of your EQ. That works nicely. Hello, Ivy. This is Ivy, Poison Ivy. Speaking of the devil. So there you go. Studio 13. Mickey's over here. It's not a punk IPA, no. Sounds a little like Mexico. It's not a Hogarden, Matt. It's that green guitar, a Jazzmaster. You're the second person to say it's a green guitar. Ivy, would you like to get down, my love? Stop showing your butt to the entire world, please. It's not actually a green guitar. It is silver with a green light shining on it. Do you want to go down? Come on then. Whoops. She's blind, so she can't see stuff. So she needs help getting down. Do you want to go down there? Do you want to go out? She'll let us know. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's actually silver, but it looks green in the light. So this is a vintage Revo Surfmaster, and they lent me some guitars at the vintage. I talked about them before. They're based down the road from me, and they're super sound, and they let me borrow things and make reviews about them. You want to go back up? Come on then. She doesn't know what she wants. Come on then. Yow! Okay, do you just want to sit on me? Is that it? I'm trying to do a live stream here. I don't think you guys mind though. She's adorable. You just want some loving? Is that it? Okay. It's not your tea time yet. Are you going to sit there? It's cool if you do. Okay. That's cute. Ivy likes this guitar. Yeah, it's got the wang bar, which is not the official term for it, but I like to call them a wang bar because that's what Neil Young calls them. It's got loads of extra dials and stuff on it. I'm going to do a video about this soon. Youch! Why are you scratching my legs? My trousers! Sorry guys, this is like really testing my distraction. Rocco, better than pretty good, thank you sir. Alex Betty here from the UK. I play very much in the Hank Marvin style sound and trying to broaden my playing styles, and your lessons are helping with that. Thank you. Awesome, thank you very much. I did a Shadows tune, FBI, you might have seen it. Ha. I can't remember it though. You'll know it. That's a really cool one. Yeah, done a video on that. It's not a Duval or a Leffy. It's Belgian. It's not a Belgian one this time, I'm afraid. It's an Italian one. So if you can guess what Italian beer I'm drinking, I'll send you a record. Nobody guessed the track I was playing at the start, by the way. It was Link Ray. But I need to know need to know what song it was. I'll play it again for you. Should we put some reverb on for fun? Let's put some Dan Electro. Spring King. There you go. Link Ray. If you can name the tune, I'll sing you a record. Now, sorry, Ivy's trying to distract me again. Tom says, can you show us the guitars on your rack? I can't really at the minute, mate. Ivy won't let me. I'm stuck here for the rest of the stream until Ivy needs to go. Sooner Legends podcast says, I think no matter what level players we are, there's always something to learn from Nico's tutorials. Thank you. I like to think so. I always try and put in like extra little nuggets here and there. Because even if you know how to play something, you don't necessarily know. You might not know certain things. Should I include more trivia about the song? Should I do like little history lessons about the song? I've often thought like maybe I should talk about, well, this song was written by Lerba Derba and you know what I mean? I don't know. I was thinking. Paul says, I second that, Tom Vernon. Haha. Yeah, you guys are getting pally now, right? Tom Vernon, my friend, we went to school together. He's got his own YouTube channel, Tom Vernon UAP. Very interesting stuff. Talks about unexplained phenomena. And if you're into that sort of thing, you should definitely go have a look. And I made a logo for him as well, if you want to see my logo making skills. Oh yeah, that reminds me, I've been making loads of little stickers. I'll throw some of these out there as well. Oh yeah, that's me mate's band, the Coyote Men. Got some shinies. You know what I'm saying? No one's won a record yet, but when you do, I'll throw out some records. I mean stickers. You know what I mean. What else we got? It's diminished. Yes, you're talking about the followed by double stops again. Yeah, that Brian Setzer. FF from Mexico, want to buy a t-shirt, send to Mexico. Absolutely, I do shipping worldwide. So if you just head to the shop and put your address in, it'll tell you how much it is. We'll get it to you, definitely. Punk Rocket, how do you incorporate triads when playing solos? Here's a really easy explanation of how I would do that. Let's go back to Link Ray. Your tail got in the way, my love. Right, you know what? I think you need to go down, don't you? Because you look a bit, you seem a little bit. Whoops, let's pop you there. Whoops. Like I say, she can't see where she's going. You want to go outside? Go on then. Oh no. Here comes Wolf. He's going to try and eat some leads. Right. I just got to do a bit of cat herding, guys. I should never have opened that door. Come on, you. Right, you can't be here. Alright. This is Wolf. He's the baby. But he's also the biggest. But yeah, he's also the naughtiest. So you've got to go. Whoops. And Ivy. I'm sorry. Let's pop you out there. There we go. Keep moving. There we go. Or are you staying? This isn't what you signed up for, is it? You staying, Ivy? Okay, you can stay. But the wolf has to go. because he'll eat the plastic and he'll try and kill himself. And anyway, what was I saying? Okay, how would you use triads in a solo situation? Let's look at Link Ray. Okay, you all know that one. She wants to go now. Come on then. Out you pop. Out you go. Come on. Let me help you. There we go. All right. Link Ray for the third time. So what's he doing? The solo he does it. Right, what's he doing there? He's playing the top part of an E chord. So the song's in E. There's your E major. So we take that, take the top 3 strings. That's a triad shape. 3 notes makes a triad. You've got back to we were talking about the major scale. If you numbered each of those notes, you'd have 1, 3, and 5 out of that scale would make a major triad, which is what we've got here. There's a 1, a 3, and a 5. Now, I don't know if you know this trick, but the 12th fret kind of, if you go up there, you get an octave. So you open E. If you play a 12th fret, you've also got an E there. And that's the same with all of the strings. So basically, all these shapes can be moved up, and they start again on the 12th. I don't think I've explained that too amazingly well, but if you take the top part of that E chord there, you've got open E, open B, and 1st fret G. If we take that shape and move it up to the 12th fret, you would have 12, 12, and 13. So that's an E major triad. Same shape, but up here. And he's just playing that. And he does it a fair bit in his solos. I mean, that's a dead simple way of doing it. Hope that makes sense. FF, sorry for my bad English. No need to apologise. Speak better English than I speak Spanish. Steve S. Hey Nico, can you talk a bit about phrasing and playing within the song? Sometimes players think it's best to rip it when they should be more in control. Yeah, there's a time and a place for face melting solos, which I'm not that great at anyway. So I think it's like B.B. King, who kind of, he's the master of it. He'll sort of play one note and just kind of let it sit and stew, and there'll be lots of pauses in between notes. He might have been the one who said, like, when you're playing a solo, you want to make it sound like a conversation, like you're talking, or you're saying a sentence with a beginning, middle, and end. So, like, the beginning, middle, and end thing, that's a separate thing, I think, but I don't know, like, you want to let the notes breathe a little bit, don't you? It depends on the song. Like, if you're doing your big double stop, another thing to think about is resolving your little phrases. So if you know about where your roots are, say we're in A again, we don't all know, but one thing we try and remember is, say we're playing a power chord or whatever, your root is often where your first finger is, or your bar chord. So we know we've got a root here, so if you're resolving it on your root, it's going to sound cool. There's some other notes that work real nicely, like your fifth. That's quite a powerful one. And also it depends what's happening underneath, what chords are being played underneath. You know, but if you know where your roots are, you've got one there. If you know about octaves, you've got another root there, and you've got a root. Your top E and your bottom E, they're going to be the same up and down the neck. So an A there is an A on your top E. So within that position there, you've got three root notes. You've got one there, you've got the octave up, which is 2 along and 2 up. That octave shape, super useful. And you've got your high E there. So if you remember to try and land on a root note, it's probably gonna sound cool. There's a root. There's a root. There's a root. So that's a good way to like stick a full stop on the end of your sentence there. But yeah, I'd say listen to a lot of like your blues players for ideas on phrasing. Nuggets guitar music triads are great. I agree. And they were something I struggled with at first, but they're totally worth learning about. JHood33, I struggle with getting my pedal board down. I play everything from spaghetti western to surf, rockabilly. Should I put effects before the amp? Use effects loop, get a second amp, and do the wet dry thing. Okay. I would say if you're starting out with a pedal board, just get stuff down. I wouldn't worry about a second amp and do the wet dry thing. That's like, it's cool, but how much are you realistically going to be using it? Are you playing huge stages? Have you got a big room at home where you can mess around with that stuff? I've seen it being done a lot in like pedal shows and stuff like that, and it's cool. But I don't think you need to overthink it. If you've got the effects loop, yeah, you can use that. You'll probably get a cleaner sound. But I just go straight before the amp because it's convenient and quicker. The effects loop, yeah, it would be interesting to compare the two. Yeah, I'd say just don't worry about it too much. Keep it simple. You could sort of experiment with what pedals go before the other ones. So like I like using a tremolo and a fuzz. Now I think I prefer the fuzz going into the tremolo because it takes that fuzz sound and then it dramatically has that effect. You got that sort of chainsaw kind of effect. Whereas if you put the fuzz after the tremolo, the fuzz would take that tremolo sound and kind of just compress it into, you might lose some of that effect. And there's some rules that you can follow about ordering and stuff, but it really does depend what sort of thing you want. Punk rock, yeah, I play old school rock like AC/DC, Kiss, Guns N' Roses, Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath. Cool. I want to see that Black Sabbath concert. I've seen some clips of it. I'd really like to watch it. Where was I? Oh, I've just jumped the gun a bit, and yeah, Will, correct. You have won a record. So It's Birra Moretti. Is this like salty one? We got some pizza last night and they were giving away free beer. Can you believe that? It was a good day. It's like got added sea salt, which is weird. I also added a little bit of lemonade to the top because I just like a shandy. So sue me. Now I'm going to go back to the comments and I've got another question to answer. I think I'm quite far back. Oh yeah, here we go. I play them when my bro is playing full bars. Yeah, so what if you're playing with another guitarist, that's going to affect what you might want to be playing. If they're playing something like Cowboy Cuz, you might want to sort of find a G up here and then a C. That's the power of triads, because I know that that D shape goes with that E shape there. I know I can sort of invert it and play a bit higher up. Go even higher. So yeah, learning triads, I recommend it. I'm slow, but I get there in the end. That's what my ex-wife said. Oh, I made myself laugh. Okay, Paul's saying hi to Tom. Bob Smith, what's the orange one in the rack with the white binding? So, you've seen the 6120, right? That's me. That's my baby, the Gretsch Reverend Horton Heat. So the other one, this is a Revo. Now this is a Revo too. Let's swap that over. Yeah. This is also a Revo Surfmaster, but this has some Nashville pickups, I think they're called. They look like TV Jones. They're based on them, I think. Let's tune her up a little. It's very, very warm in here. Bear with me, guys. Yeah, Paul and Tom are getting pally. That's nice. It's nice when you get a little community going on. Huh. And then you guys were guessing my beer. This is what you tuned in for, right? A guy tuning his guitar. This is the vintage Revo Surfmaster. I've forgotten the name of it. I'm doing a video. I tried to do a video about this 4 times, and each time there was some technical difficulties with my camera or something. I've fixed that now, so I should be able to make something. Ooh. So that's a rusty fuzz. That's not my nice new Eisenhower. Greg H, when in the studio recording Rockabilly, is it typical to double track and pan guitars like you do for rock genres, or is it one guitar up the middle? So Rockabilly, if you go back to the real early recordings, a lot of the time they would have stuck a few mics in a room and they would have done it live. They might have done some overdubs, but it was mostly done live. So I don't think there would have been any double tracking, panning, nah. Also, when they were recording like effects, I think they were going in live a lot of the time. So that's a big difference in the sort of rock and the rockabilly thing. And then when you start, because you're asking about the psychobilly thing, you start looking at the psychobilly world, that gets a bit more modern. You get a bit more rock sounds with it. There's some like, you look at like Mad Sin, and I can't think of some more modern psychobilly bands, but they will have a bigger, more punk rock kind of sound. I like it when it's live recorded and it sounds kind of a little bit sketchy. I like somewhere in the middle, because sometimes those rockabilly records sound so rough and like they don't have the oomph that you want sometimes, because I do enjoy a decent rock, loud rock band as well, so I like somewhere in the middle. Nico, DM you an example of Carl Perkins' ending. Yes, please do. Hey Paul, hey Jono, greetings from the next street. Love this snakebite fueled double stop lesson. We'll have a hat. Yes, excellent, see you soon. So Jono lives basically over the hill from me, and he's had a couple of lessons before. Nice that you could join us. That's how my cat greets everyone. We call it a butt kiss. Yeah, I get plenty of them. If I'm not drinking Red Stripe, what's the point? Well, I'm drinking free beer, so that's my excuse. Matthew Barr, Mick Ronson and Ian Hunter did the FBI and rocked it. I've not heard it. Scott Leonard says you have an amazing catalogue of songs in your head. How many songs are in there? I probably got thousands of partial songs, but if I were to reproduce them authentically, then I would probably not have that many, because one goes in, another one goes out, and also it's like a memory. The memory turns into a memory of a memory of a memory of a memory, like the VHS tape you're recording over it, and each time it's getting a little bit less faithful to the original. So I've gone back to a song thinking I've known it and be like, yeah, I know that, and then it's not quite there. Scott from South Carolina, some rockabilly players use a second amp with distortion, then blend the two. Yeah, in fact, when I played live at the Brudenell, I put a gig on. It was a big stage. I had 2 amps. I had, but I wouldn't call myself rockabilly. I had like this. Oh, you can't even see because the mic stands in the way. Supro. It's my Supro. Sorry, Supro. This was kind of on loud and distorted, and I had my Fender DeVille for the clean, and passed that on to the sound guy to kind of to blend. So yeah, that's an option, but I wouldn't do that like for every gig, because you got to carry around 2 amps. Like, I don't know, depends what you want to do. I'm kind of lazy and my back hurts, so yeah, it's up to you really. I'm at the point at the minute where I want to make it as easy as possible just to do stuff. Haley from the Mojave. Link Ray, Hillbilly Wolf. It wasn't Hillbilly Wolf, I'm afraid. One more chance. Any guesses? You get a record. It's not Rawhide. Do another old school guitar deck of cards pick tutorial. Yeah, that's a good shout. Matt Barr, talk about the songs. Yorkie Mike likes the trivia. Slide down the octave was cool. Free beer is the best beer. Yeah, I was under the impression that pre-60s are recorded directly to master album, no track shuffling. Yeah, I think so. I'm having a Fireball and Pepsi with you. Nice. I'm a mixed drink daddy. Though my trailer trash roots show I love Fireball. Is that the aniseed one? I think I've had that. I think I've had some bad hangovers from that. So you're not happy with your spring reverb? This is the Dan Electro Spring King Jr. and I really love it. It's really good at doing this. It's what it does. Yeah. And you can get more subtle effects with it as well. But it's got a real spring in there. So you can give it a kick and it'll do that, which is a lot of fun. Surfy Bears are meant to be really good as well. I did send them an email saying, mate, send us one and I'll review it or demo it. But I think he's got enough of that stuff already. He doesn't need it. Just quickly, now, Greg H did ask a question on Patreon, and I want to get back to that, and then we'll call it a night, I reckon. But Greg H, he asked, I've been trying to learn how to better play rockabilly, psychobilly stuff. I've been following a lot of song tutorials, but I've yet to put it all together in a way that I can start writing my own stuff. I feel like I just know a few licks and riffs. Do you have any tips on how to learn this style with all the chord inversions and such at a more structural level? I want to move beyond just mimicry. For context, I consider myself an intermediate guitarist, but my background is in punk, so a lot of this is new to me. Thanks. So I got a lot to say about that. Where do we start? Paul, due to recent old man health issues, I've had to quit drinking. I'm sorry to hear that, Paul. Maybe you can enjoy something else that's not alcoholic. It's not Pancho Villa. Right, to answer this question, basically, what are you asking? How do you get more into rockabilly, psychobilly stuff? I would say study the chord progressions. When I say study, that makes it sound a bit boring, but like learn your songs that you like, find out what the chords are. So like, let's get dead simple, let's go with the Ramones. I don't know what key it's in, but no, that's not the one I want to have. Like Sheena is a punk rocker, right? I don't know what key it's in, let's say it's in E. What chords are they? You got E, A, and D. That chord progression is used in so many songs and lots of rockabilly, punk, rock and roll, like but because it's maybe in a different key, it might sound different, like, or it might be with a clean guitar, it might be a different rhythm. It might be like Bo Diddley thing, or it might be Richie Valens, which is pretty much, it sounds like Ramones anyway. Ramones, I saw a funny like meme of this guy who's like discovering that the Ramones is just Buddy Holly but sped up with loud guitars. So a lot of the time the chord progressions will be the same. Also, rockabilly, a lot of it's going to be 12-bar blues. So I would say, do you know what a 12-bar blues is? If not, I would get that under your belt, because once you know that, you'll unlock thousands of tunes. And then also look at what chords they are. What was my point? Okay, yeah. So I'd learn the chords. But yeah, keep doing what you're doing. You say your background is in punk. There's going to be a lot of punk, rockabilly and psychobilly tunes that follow the same chords as punk. I think I said that. It's not ramble, Will. Close but not right. Keep doing this 1-4-5 progression, but you could do like it's like 1-6-4-5. So like you might hear a Richie Valens song or something like that, doing like some kind of whoa. And then, you know, if you stick some distortion on it, it's like that becomes more of a punk thing. And then the difference between like psychobilly, rockabilly and punk a lot of the time is the tone of the guitar as well. Like any effects. Like I've always got slapback on. Like maybe your rockabilly is going to be like cleaner. Maybe there'll be some slapback on there because of Brian Setzer, right? Because a lot of the time the slapback would have been added to the whole track with the rockabilly thing, I think. So I think that's more of a recent thing, the rockabilly guys add in a pedal. I could be wrong again. Yeah, so your effects, your tone's going to have an effect on whether it's punk or rockabilly or psychobilly. The techniques, what you're playing, are you palm muting? Like if you're chugging away with loads of distortion, it's going to be more punky, but then you take the distortion off. It gets more, you know, you can change your style with your tone and your rhythm, but the chords, there's only so many chord progressions that sound really cool when it comes to like Western pop music. Anyway, that's my TED talk about that. What do you think? 12-bar blues and the 1-4-5. When it came together in my mind, the clouds opened and the sun shined. Nice one, Stormcrow. Please, please me. That's got a lot of chords in it. But it's based around the 1, the 4 and the 1. That's kind of unusual. But you're right, it goes to the 1-4-5 at the end there, Will. Well done. Right guys, I have been going for longer than usual, but I've really enjoyed it and I'm going to call it there. So thanks for watching. There's a couple of people who've won a record. If you said Link Ray first, send me your email, your address, and I think it was, I can't remember who guessed the beer, but send me an email with your address. It's xraynico@gmail.com and I'll get you Continental Quilts record and some stickers. Don't forget to get a hat if you want one, because they're gonna be gone soon. Yeah, thanks for joining me. It's been great, and I will see you all soon. All right.